Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Okay. Shabbat Shalom. Good morning. Seems to be one of those days where everybody's just moving a little bit slower, including myself. So I had a request to do one of the songs that I did last night this morning, and I want to give you this chance to just sit back and relax and just listen to the words. Mama, don't you cry no more. Mama, don't you cry no more. 'Cause a brighter day is gonna come our way. So mama, don't you cry no more. I don't want to be afraid, and I won't stand around and wait, and I won't run and I won't hide, im lo akshav matai, 'cause I don't want to be afraid, 'cause I won't stand around and wait, and I won't run and I won't hide, im lo akshav matai. So darling, don't you cry no more. Darling, don't you cry no more, 'cause a brighter day is gonna come our way. So darling, don't you cry no more. Lo yisagoy el goy cherev, lo yilmedu od milchama, lo yisagoy el goy cherev, lo yilmedu milchama. I don't want to be afraid, and I won't stand around and wait, and I won't run and I won't hide. Im lo akshav matai. I don't want to be afraid, and I won't stand around and wait, and I won't run and I won't hide. Im lo akshav matai. Darling, don't you cry no more. Darling, don't you cry no more, 'cause a brighter day is gonna come our way. So darling, don't you cry no more. Those words, Im lo akshav matai, if not now, when, reminds us to keep moving forward, to keep trying for the best in ourselves, for the best in our friends, for the best in our families, and for the best of all of us united together. We will begin our service on page 192 with the words of Ma Tovu. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. V'ani berov chastecha avo v'techa eshtachave elecha kodshecha be'yiratecha. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Let us join together in the words of the Asher Yatsar prayer, thanking God for giving us these bodies, these physical things that allow us to be. It's fascinating to me that life, that these little cells that make us up can create these complex beings with complex thoughts and emotions. I just think it's baffling. On the bottom of page 195, don't let me fall as a stone falls upon the hard ground. Don't let my hands become dry as the twigs of a tree when the wind beats down the last leaves. And when the storm raises dust from the earth with anger and howling, don't let me fall. I have asked for so much, but as a blade of your grass in a distant wild field, let's drop a seed in the lap of the earth and dies away. Sow in me your living breath as you sow a seed in the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, rofeh chol basar umafli la'asot. We turn the page once to the words of Elohai Neshama. Not only are our bodies made up of these individual cells, but there's something special in there. There's something unique about humanity that gives us this little bit of neshama, this little bit of the divine in each of us. And the words of Elohai Neshama, of the tune created by Debbie Friedman, may she be a blessing, is one of my favorites. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Shenatata bi Tehorahi. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Shenatata bi Tehorahi. Ata verata, ata yatsarta, ata nefachta bi, ve'ata meshamera, meshamra birkirbi. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Shenatata bi Tehorahi. You know, the rabbis who created our services and who put together the order of these services were quite smart. They knew that we might have difficulty getting up some mornings, and so they, in their infinite wisdom, put together the Nesim B'chol Yom, the prayers that are just like us getting up in the morning to help rouse us, to remind us of these wonderful things that we are able to do. So we continue with the Nesim B'chol Yom. On page 198, we chant together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan l'sachvi vina, lehavchin ben yom uvein laila. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, rokah haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin metzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten le'ayef koach. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hama'avir shena me'enai, utnuma me'afapai. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tselem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani ben chorin. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Ozer Yisrael b'gvura. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Oter Yisrael b'tifara. And in anticipation of our study of Torah today, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher kidishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Amen. We will continue on page 206, and I thought that I'd bring in these words of Elu Devarim because of the last line, V'talmud Torah keneged kulam. This is what I sort of referenced last night when I was talking about the horrible fact that books are being banned, that history is being covered over. And this here shows that the study of our past, to learn from it and to grow from it, is more important than all of these mitzvot that are listed here. So I thought that I would chant in the traditional nusach, the Elu Devarim, and I invite you to read the English as I chant. Elu Devarim she'en lahem shiur, she'adam olchel pirotehem le'olam hazeh, והקרן קיימת לו לעולם הבא, ואלו הן כיבוד ארבעים וגמילות חסדים, והשכמת בית המדרש שחרית וערבית, והכנסת אורחים וביקור חולים, והשכמת כלה וביית המת ועיון תפילה, והבאת שלום בין אדם לחברו, ותלמוד תורה כנגד כולם. We now turn to our Psukei de Zimra, our passages of song that give us more energy as we get closer and closer to our main service. And so we will continue on page 215 with the words of Ashrae, and we will only be doing the top paragraph today. Ashrei yoshvei beitecha, od yehalelu chasela. Ashrei yoshvei beitecha, od yehalelu chasela. Ashrei, Ashrei, Ashrei yoshvei beitecha, Ashrei, Ashrei, Ashrei yoshvei beitecha. Happy are those who dwell in your house. They will sing your praises forever. Happy are those who dwell in your house. They will sing your praises forever. Ashrei yoshvei beitecha, od yehalelu chasela. Ashrei yoshvei beitecha, Od Yehalelucha Selah. Happy are those who dwell in your house. They will sing your praises forever. Happy are those who dwell in your house. They will sing your praises forever. We will continue with the Chatzi Kaddish on page, there it is, 224. Right? 208? No, that's the Kaddish D'Rabbanan, I think. 224, I think. Yes. It's okay. Again, it's morning. That's fine. And that's why we're here together. That's why you have a minyan. So everybody can help each other out. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael Bahagala, uvizman kariv v'meru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach, le'olam ulal me'almaya yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata namiran be'alma V'meru, amen. We turn to page 226 and rise for the Baruch Hu. Yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai. Yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai. Yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai. Yai dai 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 dai, yai dai yai dai dai, yai dai dai yai, dai yai dai dai dai. Yai dai 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 dai, yai dai yai dai dai, yai dai dai yai, dai yai dai dai dai. Barechu et Adonai amevorach. Barechu et Adonai amevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai. You may be seated. You know, I'll tell you a secret. The melody that we sing here is technically wrong. It's supposed to go, yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, not yai dai dai dai. But I really like the yai dai dai dai. I really like it. So this is one of the things that I love about Jewish music is these composers write these beautiful pieces and then give them out to the community. Of course, we purchase them, and then because we want to support those composers. But then it's up to us to take those pieces and to make them our own. You're going to get a similar flavor, but it's going to have different spices in it whenever you go to different synagogues, and that's what I love. So we will continue now with the Yatsar, or on page 228. You know what? Let's do 229, the second reading together. You are praised, who rolls out the rough, raw clay of the universe into delicate vessels of light. And from nothing at all, we could perceive in a world that has turned old a shimmering new creation right before our eyes, made this moment just for us. How much of life reveals your presence? How much Torah unfolds from each new flower, from each new wave that breaks upon the sea? You are praised, who forms from the clay that cloaks our lives the delicate vessels which contain our light. Baruch atah Adonai, Yatsar hameorot. There's this wonderful teaching that in order for God to create the universe, God had to contract, had to tzimtzum, had to come in to make room for God's creation. And in that contraction, vessels were broken and shed light, and little bits of light here and there. And so I think this is just a wonderful reading. And each of us, the idea of tikkun olam is not just the idea of repairing the climate, of cleaning up litter, but it's literally repairing those broken vessels that when God tzimtzum contracted and these vessels broke, it's repairing the nature of the universe, not just our physical world, but our spiritual selves as well. We continue with the Ahava Rabbah on page 230. Ahava Rabbah ahavtanu, Adonai Eloheinu, Chem lagedola v'tzera, Gamalta aleinu. Ba'havur avoteinu, Ve'imotenu, Shabbatchu Becha, Avotenu Ve'imotenu. Vatlamdenku Chechayim, Kein Techonenu Tlamdenu, Amrachem Rachem Aleinu. V'tein belibeinu lehavin ulhaskil lishmoa, lilmod ulilamed, lishmor velasot. Ulkayem et kol divrei Talmud Toratecha be'ahava. V'har ernenu v'toratecha, v'dahabek libeinu b'mitzvotecha, v'yachen levavenu le'ahava uv'yera et shemecha, v'lo nevosh, v'lo nikalem, v'lo nikashel, le'olam va'ed, ki b'shem kol Hoshecha Agadol Vatzorah Andachnu Nagila V'nismecha Nagila V'nismecha V'yishuatecha V'havienu l'shalom me'arban kanfot ha'aretz v'tolichenu kol mimiyut le'artzenu el poel Yeshuot zata uvahanu v'charta v'keravtanu l'shimcha gadol sela be'emet lehodot lecha ולייחדך באמת. ברוך אתה אדוני, הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה. We rise for the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Yevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. May be seated. We continue responsively on page 235 at the bottom. If we can hear the words from Sinai, then love will flow from us, and we shall serve all that is holy with all our intellect and all our passion and all our life. If we can serve all that is holy, we shall be doing all that humans can do to help the rains flow, the grasses to be green, the grains to be golden like the sun, and the rivers to be filled with life once more. All the children of God shall eat, and there will be enough. But if we turn from Sinai's word and serve only what is common and profane, making gods of our own comfort or power, then the holiness of life will contract from us. Our world will grow inhospitable. Let us therefore lace these words into our passion and our intellect and bind them as a sign upon our hands and eyes. Let us write them in mezuzot upon our doors and teach them to our children. Let us honor the generations that came before us, keeping the promise for those yet to be. Right in there is another sort of example of what I was talking about last night, the words of Hillel. If I am not for myself, who will be for me? But it's that middle part. If I am only for myself, what am I? Right there. We turn to the page 240 for the words of Micha Mocha. Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai Micha kamocha nedar b'kodesh mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh nora tehilot osef eleh nora tehilot osef eleh mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh Shirach chadasha shibechu geolim l'shimcha safat hayam yachad kulam hodu ve'imlichu ve'ameru Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh Tzur Yisrael Kuma Bezrat Yisrael Ufnechinu Mecha Yehuda veYisrael Go Aleinu Adonai Tzevaot Shemo Kedosh Yisrael Baruch Atah Adonai Gahal Yisrael. Turn to page 242 and rise for the Amidah. Anana na 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 Adonai. Anana na 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 svatzai tiftach. Anana na 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 ufi yagid. Ufi yagid tehilatzecha. Anana na 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 Adonai. Anana na 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 svatzai tiftach. Anana na 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 ufi yagid. Ufi yagid tehilatzecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'hanora El Elyon Gomel chasadim tovim vekonei hakol vezocher chastei avot veimahot ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים וחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, הכתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ, כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו ומלכנו, ומושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גולך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. We take this time for a moment of personal silent prayer. You may be seated when you are ready. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Sim shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Sim shalom. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Chen v'chesed v'rachamim. We will continue our service with Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for the reading of the Torah. Do we have Ark openers? Oh, Judy and Sue, yes. Okay, thank you so much. I think you can squeeze in through there. We will be on page 362 as we rise. The Ark is open for our Torah service. Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai ve'ein kemasecha Malchutecha malchut kol olamim umemshaltecha bechol dor v'hador Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai yimloch leolam v'ed Adonai os le'amo yitain Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom Av harachamim Heitiv avetzonecha et Zion Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim Kivecha levad batachnu Melech eram v'nisa Adon olamim Ki mitzion tetzei Torah Ki mitzion tetzei Torah Udevar Adonai v'Yerushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Le'amo Yisrael B'kedushato Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo Gadlu Adonai iti Uneromema Shemo Yachtav Lecha Adonai Hagidula V'Hagivura V'Atiferet V'Hanetzach V'Hahod Hi chol b'shamayim uvaretz, Hi chol b'shamayim uvaretz, Lecha Adonai hamelacha, Le'amid nahaseh lechol lerosh. You may be seated. Our Torah portion this week is Pikudei. Our wonderful co-president Lynn Weinstein will be reading Torah for us today on page 687 of our red cloud commentary, verses 34 through 38. And we will have a communal Torah blessing.
But before we start that, just bringing it all together today.
Oh, yeah.
Several weeks ago, Cantor Dan sang V'Asuli Mikdash. And that was the divine informing Moses to build a sanctuary where the divine may dwell among the people. We are almost there. Not quite, but we will all join together when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
The Torah portion that we are reading from today is Pikudei. And thank you, Dan, for sharing this with me today. And for those, I've got mine. For those among us here in the sanctuary who would like to join together in the Torah blessing, please rise. And together. Baruch Adonai Hambarach. Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Ashar Bakobanu Mikol Ha'amin V'natalanu et Torato Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen. Vayachas Ha'anan et here goes the voice. Vayachas Ha'anan et. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Vayachas ha'anan et ahalo ahel me'od uchvod Adonai malah et hamishkan velo yachol Moshe la'avod al ohel me'od ki shachan alav ha'anan uchvod Adonai Melah et hamishkan v'ha'alot ha'anan Melah hamishkan Yisu b'nei Yisrael b'chol ma'asi Ma'asihem. Thank you. La Ahaloha'en velo ya'asu ad Yom ha'alato ki anan. Adonai al hamishkan yamam ve'as ha'aya laila. Excuse me. Le'nei b'chol Beit Yisrael b'chol Maseihem.
Asher koach chazak v'nitchazek. And we do the blessing after the Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. The cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the glory of God filled the tabernacle. Moses could not enter the tent of meeting, for the cloud rested upon it, and the glory of God filled the tabernacle. When the cloud was raised up from the tabernacle, the children of Israel would embark on all their journeys. If the cloud did not raise up, they would not embark until the day it rose up. For the cloud of God would be upon the tabernacle by day, and fire would be on it at night, before the eyes of all the house of Israel through their journeys. Be strong, and may we be strengthened.
And together we look ahead to Leviticus next week.
Yay! We're almost done with all of the Vaydaber Adonai El Moshe Lemor. You may be seated.
And Leviticus has traditionally been a difficult time for our students in religious school because the parishot are a challenge for some of our youngsters. And so we are very careful when we do that. I'm going to go get the Mishabera.
Yes.
I have it.
Oh.
Thank you, Betty.
We'll continue with the words of healing, the words of Mishabera. You know, from time to time, I find myself always behind my guitar. And sometimes that can be a great thing because it helps everybody sing along. But other times it can be sort of a barrier between us. So I think today, there we go. I think today we will sing a cappella the Mishabera by Debbie Friedman. What page is it on? That's a good question. 368? 371. There, close.
And for those among us who are thinking about someone that needs healing of body, mind, or spirit, please recite their names before we sing. And for those friends who are at home joining us for Shabbat morning, again, please recite the names of your loved ones who need healing of body, spirit, or mind on this Shabbat and throughout the days ahead. I'm going to read the names of the members of this congregation, and those names will also be on our screen. They include Dr. Hal Bass, Belle Brody, Harvey Feingold, Steve Freed, Patricia Gable, Ed Greenblatt, Aline Grief, Marilyn Heller, Jim Hernan, Bobby Hyde, Jeffrey Katz, Susan Kramer, Bill Lazarus, Sandy Lehner, Marcia London, Donna Lopater, Madeline Mogel, Tama Pasternak, Charlotte Rafelson, Ronnie Richmond, Rosie Sapadin, Walter Schatz, Joe Ellen Pearl Siegel, Ruth Seidel, Bob Silver, Sandy Silver, Harriet Silverman, Jerome Simon, Joyce Simon, Risa Stern, Zena Wagner, Colby Weinstein, Warren Weiss, and Sam Weinman, and many friends and family members of Temple Sinai as well, including Norm Alpert, Avishai Amit, Len Appel, Judy Bentley, Marcia Burns, David Cohen, Marilyn Cohen, Casey Daskal, Anthony DeBruno, Letitia Fondino, Stephen Feig, Michelle Fiddler, Joan Fisher, Bernice Gewertz, Mark Gilden, Ronnie Gitlin, Sherry Gordon, William Gordon, Cooper Grossman, Marcia Kiesler, Scott Kiesler, Aviva Keselman, Pat Kramer, Phyllis Kramer, David Lapidos, Ted Lapidos, Allison Lazarus, David J. Levy, Ellen Love, Ida Marget, Terry Max, Tom McCabe, Sharon Miller, Judith Mohn, Harold Murphy, Steve Nacht, Paul Nathanson, Dr. Martin Oppenheim, David Osterman, Nancy D. Pelosi, Louis Perez, Linda Pruskin, Esther Sagerman, Rishika Satyarthi, Judy Scheinberg, Steve Scheinberg, Eugene Senal, Ray Shapiro, Ellen Shaw, Shari K. Simon, Stacy Simon, Morton Smith, Greg Smithwick, Michelle Kahn Toussaint, Herb Weinberger, Alan Zach, Herbert Slotnick, Howard Zolan, Iris Zook. For all of those, we offer a refuah shalema as we sing together.
Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habracha le'amotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We invite our Hagpa, Eric Adams, up to raise the Torah so that we may see the end of this book of Shemot, of Exodus. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe livnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Moshe. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe livnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Moshe. Yai die die die, yai die 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 die, yai die 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 die, yai die yai die die die. Yai die die die, yai die 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 die, yai die yai die die, yai die die. You may be seated. This week's Haftarah portion can be found on page 728 of your plowed commentaries. We are in 1 Kings chapter 7, verse 51. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher bachar b'nbiim tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai Abocher b'Torah u'Moshe abdo u'Yisrael amo b'nbiei ha'emet v'tzedek. When all the work that King Solomon had done in the house of the Lord was completed, Solomon brought in the sacred donations of his father David, the silver, the gold, and the vessels, and deposited them in the treasury of the house of the Lord. Then Solomon convoked the elders of Israel, all the heads of the tribes and the ancestral chieftains of the Israelites, before King Solomon in Jerusalem, to bring up the ark of the covenant of the Lord from the city of David, that is Zion. All the men of Israel gathered before King Solomon at the feast in the month of Etanim, that is the 7th month. When all the elders of Israel had come, the priests lifted the ark and carried the ark of the Lord. Then the priests and the Levites brought the tent of meeting and all the holy vessels that were in the tent. Meanwhile, King Solomon and the whole community of Israel who were assembled with him before the ark were sacrificing sheep and oxen in such abundance that they could not be numbered or counted. The priests brought the ark of the Lord's covenant to its place underneath the wings of the cherubim in the shrine of the house in the Holy of Holies. For the cherubim had their wings spread out over the place of the ark, so that the cherubim shielded the ark and its poles from above. The poles projected so that the end of the poles were visible in the sanctuary in front of the shrine, but they could not be seen outside. And there they remain to this day. There was nothing inside the ark but the 2 tablets of stone which Moses placed there at Horeb, when the Lord made a covenant with the Israelites after their departure from the land of Egypt. When the priests came out of the sanctuary, for the cloud had filled the house of the Lord, and the priests were not able to remain and perform the service because of the cloud, for the presence of the Lord filled the house of the Lord. Then Solomon declared, "The Lord has chosen to abide in a thick cloud. I have now built for you a stately house, a place where you may dwell forever." Then, with the whole congregation of Israel standing, the king faced about and blessed the whole congregation of Israel. He said, "Praise be the Lord, the God of Israel, who has fulfilled with deeds the promise he made to my father David. For God said, 'Ever since I brought my people out of Egypt, I have not chosen a city among all the tribes of Israel for building a house where my name might abide, but I have chosen David to rule my people Israel.' Now my father David had intended to build a house for the name of the Lord, the God of Israel. But the Lord said to my father David, 'As regards your intention to build a house for my name, you did right to have that intention. However, you shall not build the house yourself. Instead, your sons, the issue of your loins, shall build the house for my name. And the Lord had fulfilled the promise that God made. I have succeeded my father David and have ascended the throne of Israel, and the Lord promised, I have built the house for the name of the Lord, the God of Israel. And I have set a place there for the ark, containing the covenant which the Lord made with our fathers when God brought them out from the land of Egypt. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, sur kol haolamim, tzadik bechol hadorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, hamdaber u'mkayim, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek, al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah, ve'al ha'nevi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh, Shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnucha lechavod u'tifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach u'mevarchim otach yitbarach shimcha befi kol chai tamid leolam va'ed baruch ata Adonai mekadesh Shabbat. Amen. Here we see that even David, it was not his job to complete the work, but he was not free to desist from it. We turn to page 374 and rise to return the Torah to the ark. We will remain standing after we return the Torah and turn to page 586 for the Aleinu at the top of the page. Yehalelu et Shem Adonai, ki nisgav shemo levado, odo al eretz v'shamayim, Vayarem keren le'amo, tehila lechol chasidav, lifnei Yisrael am kerovo. Alleluia, Alleluia. Etz chaim hi lemachazikim ba v'tom heha meushar deracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom. Hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashova Chadesh, Chadesh Yameinu, Chadesh Yameinu, Kekedem. Page 586. Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol, latet gedula leotzer breshit, Shehu notei shamayim ve'yosed haaretz, u'moshav yekaro b'shamayim mima'al, u'shchinatu zo b'kove meromim, hu Eloheinu ein od, va'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, Malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai, lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. You may be seated. Thank you, Judy and Sue. Yeah. Do your thing. Couple of announcements.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Betty Adams, co-president of Temple Sinai, along with Lynn Weinstein. Thank you, Dan, for a wonderful morning service. And hello to everyone who's joining us virtually. I'd like to thank the following sponsors who are sponsoring this weekend's Shabbat services and other things. Shabbat services this week are sponsored by Jane Brown, in memory of her beloved father David Pasternak, Maxine and David Arst, in honor of their 70th wedding anniversary. Wow. Ronnie Richmond and Jay Hammerman, in honor of Ronnie's birthday. Happy birthday, Ronnie. Martha and Jeff Cohn and Susan and Stuart Kaplan and families, and Josiah, in honor of Susan and Jeff's beloved father, Howard Cohn's 90th birthday. The following donations to the community food pantries are sponsored by Irving Goldstein in memory of Joseph Goldstein, Rhonda and Monty Arst in celebration of Monty's beloved mother, Maxine Arst's 90th birthday. Happy birthday, Maxine. Our Saturday, March 5th Shabbat Torah study is sponsored by Jane Brown in memory of her beloved father, David Pasternak, Barbara Mandel in memory of her beloved father, Reuben Stumacher, Lois Estern in memory of Sarah Edish Abrams, Rebecca Lipman in memory of her beloved mother, Sarah Abramowitz, Ronnie Richmond and Jay Hammerman in honor of Ronnie's birthday, Marcia and Robert Altabet in honor of Robert's birthday. Happy birthday to everyone that's having a birthday. And just a couple of brief announcements, actually just one really important announcement. March 12th, Saturday night, we are having a Purim Party here in the temple. All are invited, but you must RSVP. It is at 7:30 that evening. We will be having a Havdalah and then a Purim spiel, a fiddlin' Purim spoof. You can probably guess what that's based on, maybe. If not, you'll be surprised. And then coffee and hamantashen with your temple friends. If you are interested in coming, you must RSVP so that we can plan. We do not want to run out of hamantashen. So you will have to call the temple. Here's the phone number, 561-276-6161, extension 124. You can leave a message. I'm getting some cues. That's a good cue. You can leave a message with your name and the number that's going to be in your party. We really would appreciate your doing that because we want to make sure to be prepared for everybody. Shabbat Shalom.
I now invite our other co-president, Lynn Weinstein, to come and help us conclude our service with a Kaddish Yatom.
We turn now to our closing prayers and start with a reading on page number 593 as we remember those whose yortzites are during this Shabbat time and pay homage to their lives. We also pay homage to those who are in the dying fields in Eastern Europe over the past 2 weeks and pray for them as well. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty, but soon it fades. Its substance is consumed. It is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our life burns down and gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory, slowly fading in the darkness. With our lives, we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. On this Shabbat, we remember friends and family of Temple Sinai, including those whose plaques of memorial bars are kindled throughout our sanctuary. Sarah Abramowitz, Sarah Adish Abrams, Nathan Bernstein, Michael M. Cohen, Beverly Margot Elliott, Samuel Feldman, Louis Goldner, Francis Lyles, Leon S. Marks, David Reamer, Sidney Roth, Estelle Schechter, Henry Silberman, Mac Tash, Saul Tosher, Irving Wax, Dorothy Weiss, and Julius Weiss. We're also remembering Joseph Goldstein, Irving Hurwitz, David Pasternak, Harry Pollack, Alan Primus, Frank Stein, Reuben Stumacher, Edith Turner, Norman Weiser, and David Young. The recent Shloshim period, we mourn the passing of Robert Shalnick, Morgan Casey Leone, Stephen D. Goldman, Maury Rollader, Shirley Geschwind, Bonnie Ogden, and Phyllis Duberstein. If you're remembering someone during this Shabbat here in the sanctuary, please recite their names at this time. And those of you who are joining us for prayer at home, please recite the names of those with whom you have fond memory. We'll join together for praising God with the Kaddish Yatom. You'll find it on page 598 in your Siddur. And we rise in solidarity with Jewish communities throughout our troubled world. Together,
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudashah barichu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shema Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael Bimru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel V'imru. Amen.
May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, to the entire world, to which we all say Amen. And Rabbi Aviva is away this week. She will be joining us back later on when she returns on Tuesday, and we'll have full services for next Shabbat, in addition to a little Purim Party. And our closing song, Cantor Dan?
Oh.
Would you add that anybody who comes to the party must show proof of vaccination?
Okay, yes. As many of you can see, our synagogue Board of Trustees and our clergy have lifted the requirement for masking as we gather together. Our community is getting healthier, and we are still asking for proof of vaccination for those who come into our building for all activities, be they worship, social gatherings, or education. Shabbat Shalom.
I have a question. The vaccination, do you need the booster shot as well, or just the two vaccines?
Show proof of vaccination. Thank you.
It's not,
Booster needed.
Proof of vaccination.
it's not,
Some people are demanded, some
Yeah.
don't know, that's why I'm asking for that.
We are not requiring booster shots at this time. Thank you.
good question. Thank you very much. You may be seated as we end with the hope that we will build this world from love. With Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Yadadai, yadai, yadadai, dai. 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 I will build this world from love. Yadadai, yadai, yadadai, dai. And you must build this world from love. Yadadai, yadai, yadadai, dai. And if we build this world from love, yadadai, yadai, yadadai, dai, then God will build this world from love. Yadadai, yadai, yadadai, dai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Yadadai, yadai, yadadai, dai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Yadadai, yadai, yadadai, dai. Shabbat Shalom.
Very beautiful piece that Rabbi Creditor wrote the other day. That is magnificent to close the service. Wow. He really